Hello everyone. So, the first two-man banner of the entire game with some of the stupidest rate, and I managed to get fucked over by it. 4.5% getting a silence was not fun. Not sure if I'm even going to upload this summon session to this YouTube. I also know I'm not going to be posting the Canis and Corinne BHB because, let's be honest, that was a fucking joke. I literally went in with a team that I didn't even remember what I put on, and I still managed to second try it. It was dumb. So, now for the banner itself. Boy oh boy, they really don't understand how to make things go, huh? Well, I'll talk about the elephant in the room second, because obviously he's the best unit of the banner. And some. Let's start with Ylgr, which does bring two good things to the game. Obviously the main one being chill speed. Completely joking here. There's not only like that's like the third unit with chill speed in the pool. Who cares? But speed tactic being finally in the pool, that took what, 6 months, 7 months for it to not be on a legendary? I'm also kind of happy this did not give blue infantry duel for a change. And sorcery blade. This is a rather unique A slot. Only infantry unit using physical means of damage can actually use this. Dragons can't use this, mages can't use this either, so no Reinhardt using this, even though there's really not many units that would even help for. But essentially, this can work, it's just a tad too gimmicky the way I see it. There is a special mention to Lloyd I want to mention for this, because Lloyd has a weapon that requires him to be next to an infantry mage, I believe, or just a mage. I think it's infantry mage though, because Nino. And this is a fantastic A slot for him. Actually, makes up for his shortcoming when it comes down to damage, which is definitely welcomed. Other than this, most people don't really use this A slot all that well, because, well, they need to be adjacent to someone else. Unless they were armored unit, and that's why armored unit can't use it. I'm glad to see this is infantry exclusive. It gives a bit more, you know, skills for infantry, and also does not give another direct buff to armored unit, which no one fucking wants. So yeah, it's a rather gimmicky skill. Range units are probably one of the best user of it. Like, for example, just look at my George and the way I use him. I could use this as his A slot if I were to run a mage dancer. And there's only one of them that's really accessible to get merges. So it's kind of gimmicky at best and would require me to waste so much grail on one girl that honestly is not worth the effort, if anything. But yeah, other than this, she has a stat line that literally power creeps Legolt in every way, except HP by 1 and Death by 2, I believe. Everything else she ties or is better. That said, she's blue and Legolt is colorless, so while that can be a strength while dealing with combat triangle, she has literally the worst color to be one. Ias does not seem to understand any kind of logic, because it's like, look mom, I'm a blue unit, therefore I can kill reds, right? Looks at Ira, oh fuck, Regnal Estro with Wrath. Oh, well, I guess I'm dead. If she is in desperation, which get that aberration of a B slot out of her kit, she can actually, you know, just KO Zelgus consistently. Otherwise, Zelgus will require one simple thing, and that's just to not have an instant Black Luna. If Zelgus has an instant Black Luna, you're fucked, and she is not going to do her job. Black Luna is just going to tear through her. That said, I believe with Arena buff she'll be able to maybe take a Black Luna with maybe a little bit of buffs. Let's see here, 48 HP, Black Luna with, say, let's say it's a fire season. I don't remember what season is going to be with water. But let's say it's fire, so you have an extra 2 attack to account for with Ostia Pulse Chan. That's 61, that goes down to 49. You have 48 HP, so as long as your active defense is 2, you should be able to tank it. Your active defense is going to be 5 unbuffed. You'll be able to take the hit unless he's buffed. Yeah. It's Zelgus, what can I say? Glimmer will be able to one-shot him with Sorcery Blade, but I doubt you'll be running a mage. Honestly, my biggest gripe with Sorcery Blade is how it's only working with Tome Unit. It should be Tome Unit and Healers, because Healers at least has colorless dual infantry. So you can kind of just pair that together, and Healers are fantastic support unit to begin with. So making them able to support unit through Sorcery Blade would work flawlessly for what they do. I would be able to actually run George with it because my Lushisis exists. Which, speaking of, I was planning on changing her for Mikoto because I was expecting Mikoto to get a demote because we're not getting a demote from the Surtr banner, that's for sure. Ylgr here has way too good fodder. Fucking speed tactic? Are you kidding me? Like, no, that's not getting demoted. And Surtr, well, oh god, there's so many problems with that one. So, no demotes there, no demotes on the Fates banner, no demotes on the 2 banners beforehand, and there were all new heroes banner. What you're telling me with this is that we're not getting any demotes for 2 full months. And I was thinking the rate at like 1 demote per month was very slow, Jesus. I just really better just introduce a demote pull change at this point because it's pathetic. What you're looking at is a game that really needs to have more unit in the demote pool to, you know, give somewhat more of a purpose to pull. And just completely denying this. Like, the colorless pool is horrible. Every healers need to have another skill added to their arsenal, and that would be a skill available at 4-star. Otherwise, all of them are worthless unless you're building a healer. Straight up. Like, are you going to try to pull for a fucking base Sakura to give threat and attack too? Get out with this shit. Healers have no fodder unless they're 5-star. Straight up. It's horrible. They need to actually introduce new skills to them, so we have at least some kind of fodder from this. And at the same time, like, just add more stuff in the colorless pool, 4-star pool. That's why I was like, Mikoto getting demoted would be fantastic. We would have another Brazen in the pool. That would be amazing. And Rush, while very unwieldy, can still work to some extent. But no, it's dumb. It's really dumb. Anyway, let's talk about her weapon. Her weapon can be used in conjunction with Phantom Speed, and as per usual, it doesn't work too good. Why? Because if you have 1 more speed, you double instantly. So what's the point of getting an extra 4 speed if you don't double to begin with? There are too many skills that will give guaranteed follow-ups to the enemy anyway. So at the end of the day, if you have like an extra 4 speed, it won't help too much. The 4 attack can help here and there, but it's nothing really amazing. Honestly, Ylgr is such an oddity of a unit. You will want to keep her A slot because otherwise she will struggle to kill anything. But I would also like to point out one thing. Speed minus might be our optimal Bane, which is fucking dumb. because she just has so much speed to begin with. With speed minus, she has 38 speed, and if you proc chill speed on whatever is the fastest unit, unless there's another unit that has, like, you know, 40 plus speed, it won't matter. Because at the end of the day, speed minus 38 speed. As long as the unit has 37 or less speed, you double them because of the dagger. 37. That's kind of high already, don't you think? That's enough to double a plus 10 Ylgr, by the way. Naturally, without buffs. It's stupid. And that's without your seal slot, that's without buffs, that's without anything. Drive speed 4 is very easy to run on most units. So, can you explain me why speed minus would be bad? Like, going death minus will get you killed in a lot of cases. Ylgr being a prominent one that will be able to kill you much easier. Res minus will get you killed by mages, which is also getting to be a problem because we're getting more and more red mages. HP is a super bane, I think. I might be wrong on that one. As a matter of fact, I can just check here. Yeah, it's a super bane. So, yeah, don't do that. Attack minus is horrible because she's already struggling with damage. So speed minus becomes her best bane because it's so easy to fix. Speed minus, you hit 35 speed. You go back to 38 because of the dagger. And it gives an extra 4 attack 4 speed if needed. It's dumb. And if you don't use chill speed, if you have something debuffing speed like speed ploy on anyone else, you're good to go as well. It's just silly. There's no reason for you to go in any other bane unless you have, you know, nothing better. So, it's kind of silly, really. For a character that's reliant on speed, speed minus being the best bane is absolutely ironic. Anyway, let's move on to the comparison, which I flashed for 2 seconds. Obviously, Legolt is the comparison, and fucking Bottle. I hate this shit. Sorry about this. Legolt is the closest comparison you can make. They basically have the same bulk for the most part. As I said, 2 more defense and 1 more HP, otherwise tight speed, more attack, more res. They're basically very similar, except Ylgr has a better dagger. Let's be honest, the cleaner is not great. It's good to use against tactic teams, which doesn't always happen, and if there's no tactic team, it's a useless 12-byte beat stick. Literally using a slightly better silver dagger at that point. That's a problem. But yeah, if you're going to be running one of the two, I would say definitely Ylgr. Though the problem that Ylgr runs into is, well, typing is bad. As I mentioned before, red unit will tear through her in literally no difficulty whatsoever. Which is kind of a problem considering she's supposed to be strong against them. Unless she's in Desperation. In Desperation, she may even be able to get rid of Ira if you have chill speed proccing, and that you have like very minimal buff in speed. Like even with normal speed, if you proc chill speed on a plus 10 Ira, you double her. That's dumb. But even then, even if you double her, if you get one-shotted, that's a problem. So you have to run Desperation. So you can't really do both. Unless you have someone else with chill speed. But at that point, the best bet you can really do is just to run like drive speed 4. It's gonna be way more consistent. Overall, not a bad unit, but not a great one either. Legolt is more or less equal when it comes down to stat line because he doesn't have to deal with, you know, the green problem. Honestly, Ylgr should have been red. Red would have been amazing for her, but they had to put her as a blue unit for whatever reason, which is dumb. Absolutely dumb. As a red dagger unit or red bow unit or red anything unit, she would at least be dealing well with green unit, because not many green units are special monsters. At the same time, it would have been good against Surtr, but oh, we can't have that because Surtr weak is Cancer. Yay, gotta keep it Cancer. Anyway, let's move on to Surtr himself. A lot of people were complaining about power creep when Fortress Def Res became a thing, which, like, I'm like, Fortress Def and Fortress Res, by extension, were already power crept by Steady Stance and Warding Stance. They never were meta-defining. The only reason you would use that is because there was nothing better, and Steady Stance 4 is a great example of this. Yeah, just like Fortress Def Res exists, Steady Stance 4 exists, and both of those skills are locked behind 5-star units. So you can't really make the argument that it completely power crept Fortress Def. If you're going to go with Fortress Def or anything buffing defense, go Fortress Def. Though Fortress Def Seal is completely dead and buried, the Attack Def Bond exists. Why would you bother with this? It's like, do you want Fortress Def but with an extra 8 attack? Yeah, I'll take that. It's so stupid. But yeah, this is what I would call actual power creep. Fortress Def Res was just replacing a more or less obsolete skill. Steady Stance 4 took a skill that was actually good to begin with and made it stupidly strong, which also I believe Steady Stance 4 is usable on healers. So yeah, it is. Let that sink in. But it's not that great on healers. That said, it can be good on tanks, if anything, because it completely negates specials for the most part. But can you tell me who's the idiot at IS that decided, oh yeah, you know, this Surtr is really strong, but it just needs a little more power. Let's give him trainee status. Let's keep the absolutely broken pref weapon he has. Let's give him a 300 SP A slot that is literally just breaking most red builds, because most red units that are really good are reliant on specials. And then on top of this, on top of all of this, let's also give him a unique C slot. Are you fucking joking me? Like, I don't want to be an asshole here, but this kit is literally better than Brave, like Legendary Hector and Brave Hector and their kits, because this set right here is extremely frustrating to deal with. Let me break it down as easy as I can put it. If you attack, you don't get specials, because Steady Stance 4 is a thing. I'm not even going to talk about Wary Fighter, because that's honestly just a dead horse. Who cares? It's just Wary Fighter. It's probably going to get replaced to Bold Fighter anyway. But the point is, if you attack, you are not proccing special. If you get attacked, like if you're like, aha, so I'll be smart and I'll just bait it, that's also a terrible idea. You know why? Because Sinmara and Surtr Menace will proc. Which is fucking stupid. Why is that even a C slot? It's so stupidly broken. It's basically a selfish Peshkaz slash whatever weapon is called, Veronica-chan. If you're baiting, the cost for baiting is buffing Surtr by 4 in every stats, while also making you take 20 damage, which is, in a lot of cases, damn near off HP. Like, the one good thing is it insta-proc Vantage, at the very least, and skills like these. It also instant proc Brazens, and you'll be extremely reliant on double Brazens to take this guy out, because that's like the best option you have. The problem though is, while in arena that's very manageable, there's one huge problem this little piece of shit has. You need 5 counter in AA. And unlike Zelgus, there is no counter to this. There's just no counter. The best you can do is run Ruby fucking Sword with Axebreaker and hope to God you don't die. That's so stupid. Like, the worst part is he could just run Bolt Fighter, Bonfire, and then you attack. He attacks. You already have 20 less HP to begin with, and then he procs Bonfire. Like, what? What do you want me to do? If you attack, you better bet your ass you'll have to rely on the first 2 hits killing him. But then what do you do about the units behind Surtr? You're still fucked! The entire meta for the high tier arena ends up being a, can you tank this? If you can't tank this, you're fucked, because if you have to kill an initiation, unless you have a dancer or by some miracle reposition, which you most likely don't because scoring is a thing. Well, or Legendary Lucina, I guess, would be also a fair point to bring up. If you don't have any of those things, tough motherfucking luck. Because if you have to kill an initiation, you have to basically bait the team backward if he's in the front, or kill the first unit, then go backward to kill the rest. It's a mess. You can't approach this thing easily. You'll have to isolate it. But there's one good silver lining, is that it works absolutely horribly in an armored team. Now, the reason why I say this is because the way Surtr, Menace, and Sinmara works, if you are actually running Armor March, it will fuck him over. Because if you run Armor March, he will move out of the range that is, you know, effect work, aka you can bait it without taking anything for damage. But in a team with no Armor March, this is fucking cancer to deal with. So he doesn't synergize well with the other unit. Thank fuck, because otherwise it would be a nightmare to deal with. He also has a pretty good rate to be summoned. I've heard a lot of people being able to pull him to +10 in 800 orbs. Around that number, which is kind of stupid and ridiculous. This is the power of 2-man banners. I can't fucking harness it to save my own skin, but, you know, that's just how things goes for me. But it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Surtr is, lo and behold, the best green unit of this game now. There's just no comparison. Yes, Grima is the best green unit second to him. But the thing with Grima is that while he hit res, you can't just literally bait any unit in the world that aren't mages or range units, take no damage, debuff it to shit, buff yourself to shit, and just make it lose all HP, essentially, by just repeating the process. It's stupid. He also is one of the best cheerleader as a result, also, which, again, why? Debuffing everything from the enemy by 4, it doesn't buff his allies, obviously, but who cares? It's still a huge debuff. It loses a lot of HP. And then, if your entire team has stuff like tactics, you're basically looking at a clean 10 in all stats over the enemy. And 20 health. You see what I mean here? This is stupid. You can literally just bait Zelgus until Zelgus has 1 HP left. Let him attack you because he has no charge gain from this. Attack you and die immediately because all you have to do is 1 damage. What? And even if you just let him attack normally, Steady Stance just procs. No one cares about your fucking Bolt Fighter. Like, at this point he needs to have Slaying Edge, Quicken Pulse, or Slaying Edge, Ostia's Pulse, to be able to proc it with Bolt Fighter in mind. This is stupid. And the worst part about this is you can still just run DC on him, because he has exactly as much res as Sheena, who beforehand was like the highest res unit, I think, or second to Christmas Lissa, I believe, which is just retarded, because Christmas Lissa is just pretty much shit in comparison. Honestly, Surtr, the way I look at it, Surtr is the new best green unit of this game. And if you're looking further, like, of the entire game, you can even make a case that he's the new best unit of the entire game, surpassing Selgus. Outside of damage, combat with no combat interaction is absolutely ridiculous. No matter how you look at it, this is just busted beyond belief. And just to express also how good his stat line is, look at this. In the past, I've said this before, but Christmas Crumb before Surtr had the best stat line out of all green unit of the entire game. That's just how good his stat line was, and Surtr completely power creeps him. The only thing Crom has over Surtr that matters is 1 HP and 1 attack, at the cost of 5 def and 4 res. Let that sink in. Oh, and just to add insult to injury, Surtr has a super boon in attack and defense. Are you fucking serious? So, like, one of the least liked characters of all of Book 2 is the one that gets, like, ultra buffed to shit. Like, I understand he's the final boss and he's meant to be strong, but so is Grima. Hell, look at female Grima. She's extremely underwhelming. Who cares? You see my point? Like, that's not even a point to be made. Julius is the final boss of FE4. Look at his stat line and tell me he's good. Well, if you have an attack plus res minus, you have literally 1 more res, 5 more def, same attack as an attack plus Crom without Banes, and the only stats he beats you in, like an attack plus Crom, no Bane, to an attack plus res minus Surtr, is 2 speed and 1 HP. Let that sink in. And then you have LA Hector, which also was really strong. As a matter of fact, if you put him with the Ignis set, with Bolt Fighter, you could make a case he was actually the strongest green armored unit. Honestly, it was always a toss-up between LA Hector and Christmas Crom. No one else. That's an unpopular opinion, but I stand by it. The whole reason why I say this is because the only reason that LA Hector loses a lot of potential is purely because of the way scoring works, and I'm very thankful for it, because Ignis would be stupid to deal with. Bonfire, you fail to kill him in 1 round? What's that? I can just run Wrath and my axe just insta-charge Bonfire for 40 plus damage. What? It's kind of silly at that point. And just like Crom, Surtr just power creeps him in every stats. As a matter of fact, there's not a single stat he has better. Except speed. Who cares about speed? Not when it's less than 25. So yeah, pretty underwhelming. Let's put it simply. Now let's move into Gharnef. I ended up deciding to do this also, the whole Gharnef thing. That took forever. As a matter of fact, if you're curious on how I did this, I did this on stream. I've put basically everything that I have right here. I've put all of this together on a stream. And some more. I worked on videos after I was done with summoning. I don't know, I just felt like it, and it had been snowing all day. And outside was like minus 10 something Celsius. It was horrible. I just didn't want to go to work that day. So I worked on videos instead. So yeah, here's Gharnef. One of the bigger villain, I believe he's one of the main antagonists of Shadow Dragon and New Mystery of the Emblem. Or one or the other, I'm not sure. Gharnef is peculiar. There is no reason to build him for a Blade Tome set. Ever. Tarja just does that better. In every way. Even if you go life and death, because you have the bulk for it versus a Fury Tarja, Tarja can just go speed plus, and at that point she has just better offense. Even with just Fury, while having better bulk anyway. There's no purpose. And I'm not talking about Bright Tarja. I'm not talking about Christmas Tarja. I'm talking about base Tarja. That's just how bad his stat line is for a Blade Tome set. Imhulu makes his bulk 27-26, which is kind of neat, but I feel like his tome should give speed plus 3. Speed plus 3, and the effect should not be this bunch of text basically meaning, ooh, if you are not mage, you take 5 damage on turn 3, as long as you don't use tomes. Ooh, but you get candlelight effect. Whoa, spooky. Look, what his tome did in the game he's from is literally just make so that whatever the enemy was going to be doing wouldn't work. Unless it was a Starlight tome. If it's not Starlight, it just negates whatever attacks you would have taken. So here's what you would have done to make this effect work here, okay? No start of turn 3 bullshit, that's only going to be good in Aether Raid once in a year. And replace this by just a Fire Sweep effect that doesn't work against Blue Mage, because that would be referencing Lind. I'm not going to go into details as to why Lind is particularly important here, but just see it as this. Starlight is a light tome. Shine is a blue tome. There we go. Just make a Fire Sweep effect that's completely one-sided on everything but Blue Mage, while also being able to attack back on enemy phase. There you go, that's all you need to do to have made Imhulu good with a speed plus 3. It would have referenced this fucking tome in the game. Seriously, his tome just makes him invincible outside of one tome. And you're telling me, oh yeah, no, we make people take 5 damage on turn 3. Whoop-de-fucking-do. That kind of effect can work. The problem is you have to set up your entire party on it. And then you have to hope whatever team you have to deal with is not going to fuck you over with this. And even if you're going to talk about Aether Raid as to one of the places you would be using this on, just realize one thing, Scatty exists. Scatty is now actually pretty solid and interesting to use in Aether Raid. Outside of Faithful Raid, not really, but like you can combine a Scatty with a Bolt Tower. That's 20 damage, straight up. And Panic. This can be really good for a defense team. However, Imulu is like literally just a bootleg version that does worse in a lot of cases, just straight up worse. It's bad. Like I said, speed plus 3 and make that a fire sweep effect for everything but Blue Mage. That's it. That's all they had to do. So, where do we go from here? We really only have one shot that you can really make work. And even there, that's a bit shaky. You can make him an Alto Muser. Now, before someone says, Leon does that better, which I do agree to some extent, and Sophia does that better than Leon to begin with. Don't worry, I had to verify that myself. Because of the upcoming TT and GHB unit, which I also worked on stream. I think I have like less than 15 units to work on, but essentially, the thing that differentiates him to Leon and Sophia is that he has a speed stat. So you can make him have only to tank one hit, which can be pretty good. Alto with just 2 people around him, that's like 38 speed. Because you will most likely refine it to res, obviously. So you can have 27, 26. Attack Def Bond is also a great seal slot. The problem with this, though, is that his res is going to be taking a hit, so close defense might be better. But that requires close counter, and unless you really like the villain, it's kind of, well, fucked as a result. It's a shame, really. It's not even that, you know, this is a horrible stat line. It's just a bad weapon to go with it. It's a shame. But yeah, let's go in comparison. Yeah, those were basically the 2 best comparisons I had to make with him. As I said before, base Tarja is just better. If you go speed plus with Fury, like Fury versus Life and Death, Gharnef gets an extra 2 attack and 2 speed. That would be 32 attack, 36 speed, right? Speed plus Tarja hits 32, 37. Again, no reason whatsoever to use Gharnef over Tarja. And then you go like speed plus death minus. That is still good enough bulk. You have 59 bulk overall. And, well, actually 62 with Fury. And since he has to run life and death to catch up to Tarja's more or less stats, yeah, he ends up with 60 bulk. Tarja ends up bulkier, quicker, and doing about the same damage. So the only thing Gharnef really has going for him between the two is the Alto set and his pref weapon that sucks ass. On the bright side, though, he does come with Mirror Stance and Shield Attack, which is good fodder. Mirror Stance should not be the fodder you go for, though, because Sylvia already gives that, and she's in the 4-star pool. Shield Attack is a bit too good, also, because the only other characters that have it are a seasonal and a waifu. So, well, 2 waifu and one of them is a seasonal, I guess. So, like, ugh. And then I've put Ray here because Ray is basically the only speedy Alto user you can make that works to some extent, and he just completely does better than, you know, Gharnef does better than him. If you go speed plus, well, bulk wise he's going to be much, much worse than Gharnef. But on one side, you could make the case that if you go Def plus HP minus, that's 25-29. Attack Def Bond, that's 30-29 bulk. You have solid bulk, but your HP is going to be much worse than Gharnef, so at the end of the day, it's more or less the same bulk. But it's going to be a bit less lopsided because Gharnef doesn't have many ways to get his res up. Honestly, it's kind of pathetic. If attack res bot ever becomes a thing, though, Gharnef is just straight up better in every way than Ray. But yeah, other than that, not much else to say. I'm really scraping the bottom here. But yeah, I suppose that's that. So overall, this banner is insane, but only because of one character and the fact that it's, you know, a two-man banner. Really fantastic odds of getting what you want, and Surtr is a powerhouse. There's just, like, if you have a lot of orbs and your entire point of those orbs is just to plus 10 a unit you want to have on your core team, or for scoring really high, Surtr's your man. Attack plus res minus is probably what you want to aim for. Def plus res minus is also pretty solid. You just have to keep in mind, Def minus or res minus are the only bane you should really aim for. Why? Well, it's quite simple. Those are the only non-super bane, and yeah. Attack is not also a super bane, but I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory why you want to keep that. Def minus can still be good because it's because of legendary Tiki mostly, so you may want to keep your bulk when it comes down to res as a result. Otherwise, I suppose that's about it. Not much else to say. Ylgr is fantastic fodder. Surtr is a fantastic character, which is a shame because Surtr is probably the worst written character of Book 2. Yeah, he's one of the few OC that actually did not get a dual skill. Because he's an armored unit. Fucking yay. Oh well. It is what it is. I just really hope we're going to get a bunch of the modes after this from the Fed channel, because otherwise, yikes. That's gonna be a yikes from me. They really have barely given us any demotions in the past few months. It's like they don't care about players. But yeah, I believe that's it. Not much else to say here. I only had 3 characters to cover, so this should be a bit shorter than usual. And then I look at the time, 43 minutes. Fucking yikes. Anyway. I'll see you guys later. I should probably get my summon session up, but I mean, that's really up to people actually giving a damn about that. Other than that, I'll see you guys later. Have a nice one, y'all.